Hey guys, it's just me, Steven here. I wanted to give you my testimony to my how I found Christ, and also like the pre, the current, and then the post. Um, I did a testimony actually in my practical assignment for my discipleship, and I'm kind of going to read part of it, but I know some of it's going to be on top of my head, like impromptu, but I know general idea of where I've come from and where I'm at now. Um, but so like uh, before Christ. I did grow up actually with it, with my grandparents on my birth father's side of the family, and also my Aunt Dana, which some of you might have met at church. Um, she's a really friendly lady. She helped raise me. I was like 2 when she started reading me scripture and whatnot. Like, I did have a fear for like dark. Like at night, I had to have a night light. Um, but she used to read me scriptures, and I used to watch different little biblical stuff when I was little. Um, but I did grow up with it, and I did go to Greater Portland Baptist out off of like 176th and Market with my Aunt Pam and my Aunt Nettie, Abe and my cousins Cody and Zach. We all went to into Sunday school, um, and but like growing up, I did have a lot of drama with my birth father, um, dealing with some of his frustrations and anger and hatred towards my mom and Larry, my stepdad at the time, which I met actually when I was 7, but which I mean Larry, and I grew very fond of Larry, and he grew jealous of my connection with Larry. Probably about 5th grade is when I started to want to really change my name to Clemo. I used to be last name used to be Larson, just like my brother, um, and so he, there was a lot of drama regarding his hatred with her mom and Larry. And he did have a drug addiction at some point too, and he was really heavy into alcohol. And he didn't show us as much attention and love that Larry did. And so I looked at Larry as my father figure. And um, when I got into my mid 20s, is when I really started to hit a dark spot in my life too. Um, I I started dating this girl named Nicole, who I had known since I was like 6. She was a neighbor to my birth father, and I was also close with her brother, and I used to hang out with them a lot too. And it was to like get away from my birth father and dealing with his stuff, and they were like our getaways for a lot of things, um, especially when he'd get in his moods. And I started dating her when I was like basically going. We actually really started dating when I turned 24, and we were together for like 9 months. She ended up cheating on me during that period of time, sleeping with another one of her coworkers. She worked 2 different jobs, one for a hospital, another for McDonald's actually, and slept with one of the coworkers from McDonald's. And I found out about it, and I was deeply hurt by it, and that's where I started to get a deep darkness in my heart, and it made it really hard to connect with other women. And I had a pattern of bad relationships. After that, it took me about 2 years or so to fully get out of that and to be able to start connecting with other women. And I also had a lot of problems with, I slept with a lot of women. Um, um, my intentions were good at the time for some of it, that I really wanted to connect with them, and I didn't want to just do it to do it. Um, but also, I gave into temptation as well, and um, it brought a lot of darkness in my heart, and basically it made it really hard to connect with women. Also, I was deep into pornography, and um, as of right now, I've actually haven't looked at it for going on. Was it's been actually 5 months? I would say early September of 2018 is actually when I stopped looking at it, and I knew it was a really hard addiction, and I got into a lot of deep. I got really deep into it, and it. I started noticing the effects from it, and how it messed with my psyche, and as well as my relationships. Like I didn't have to focus so much on them; that it was more about myself. So there was selfishness in there and pride, um, and so I dealt with that, and my cousin, also over a period of time, he from about August 2017 to August 8th actually is when I really gave over to Jesus and started really wanting to seek him out, um, which was August 8th, if I just make sure I got that out there, um, of last year, of 2018, is when I started looking again. And Cody really helped me um, with, he gave me material to read, he gave me videos to watch, which some of it I turned off, I didn't do anything with it, but he kept, over a period of time, I just, was trying, and I know people are praying for me. I had family that were really worried about me, and like my grandma and my mom and my brother, and I was pushing them away with a lot of this darkness that I had in my heart. But thankfully, them praying and God's help and my cousin and my family, they were really, worried, and they also, they reached me, and I came back, and I've been a changed person from it. Another thing too that I want to point out is that what also helped kind of start that back in August, actually, was it October 2006? I think it was October 2016. I had a paranormal experience, which I'm not certain if everybody believes in that stuff, but I did have my sweater pulled on. I went down to the Portland underground tunnels. It's like under Hobo's Bar. That's where the entrance is. And my sweater was pulled on, and nothing was behind me. I had my friend Ricky there with me, but he wasn't close enough. And I did ask him just to make sure, and it's a distinct feeling, if somebody's pulling with their hand on your sweater, and it was a couple times. But what also confirmed it was this couple that was standing next to me that also had felt something too, and they didn't believe in any kind of spiritual ghosts or anything like demons or any of that stuff. But they had felt something, and there was also a cold spot that was to my right back side that was different from the other air around it. So I really believe that something had touched me. And also, one of these girls that I was with, she had felt a presence in my apartment that had also, like she had sensed something when she first had ever come in. And she never told me until later in our relationship. But I would say about a month later, actually, that she mentioned something. And because she apparently had done some paranormal stuff when she lived in the South. And so we ended up talking. We used our phones, and we just asked questions, and we got some responses back. And that was another thing that helped me. I don't do that stuff now because I don't know what's on their side, and I know God intends us not to do that. So I'm just telling you, this is kind of my experiences. So don't follow my footsteps. Don't use crystals. Don't use none of that. So I did dabble in talking, and also we have a necklace that we used to use too, and we just asked simple questions. My mom, when she was living with me, used to refer to him as spirit friend, but again, I don't know exactly what it is, so I'm not gonna say it a friend. But one of the questions we asked was about me relating, and was it here to help renew my faith? And it said yes. So I don't know anything demonic that would want to say that, or put that out there, but that was another starting point. And I'm not going to say who we thought it was, only because of the fact that it's still sketchy. We don't know what you're talking to. But some of the responses we got back, we were thinking it was a family member that had passed. Not totally agreeing with that completely. I never felt anything negative. I never felt any negative presence. I never felt like something's going to hurt me or wanting to hurt me. But those were things that helped me lead me back to Christ. And so pretty much after all that, and I started attending Open Heaven at the time. Now it's Gold City Church, back in the beginning of September. And that's been my real blessing to me. That it's changed a lot in my heart. I owe a lot of that to God, and also my pastor Victor, my brother Shane, actually too. They've been a blessing to talk with, and Ruben as well. Um, Actually, everybody at church. I'm not going to just put that out just to them guys, but those are some of the guys I started out with when I started talking to people. And I'm kind of shy, so I kind of pick based on who I was comfortable with at the time. Um, but yeah, it's brought a deeper relationship with me and God. And I do read the Bible daily, and I have a discipleship book I've been doing for the last, starting basically January. Um, and so, sorry guys, there was a little break between the video. I had to go back and actually kind of think about what else I wanted to say that I had already said. But basically, the changes that I've noticed in me has been with my relationships with my family. My brother and me have been able to build a relationship again. We were close when we were kids, and then when I hit my mid-20s in that dark spot, I kind of just disbanded myself from him and didn't talk to him too much. And I also, like, before I found my faith, I mocked his faith. I was pretty much, pretty mean. And I just didn't like hearing anything about, because I questioned it. I was agnostic. I questioned a lot of their beliefs and everything. And I used to say, quote myself, basically, that I called them as an uber Christian. And I said I'd never become one, which this is another turnaround too that you can kind of see if you've known me, that I have really found a strong faith in the Lord and everything, and I do, I noticed everything He's done for me. Another thing too that I looked at when I was pursuing Christ was that all the times that struggles I've been through and the outcomes had a positive in it, like with my raises through work, and thinking about my old store I used to work at, it closed, and I had to transfer to another store, and the time that I got in the bakery into when I became a utility baker to when I became a baker. For all of you who don't know, I'm a baker at Safeway, and currently, and just everything that just matched up until when I got my raises and to when I got that the giant one, because we've had these massive rent increases, and not having a roommate and having to pay the rent myself, and it's been a blessing to have those, and they came by surprise. It wasn't just like, okay, I knew they were coming. It was it caught me off guard, and it was a real blessing, and that's one thing I got to give to God, is that He's always been there with me no matter what, and even when I was agnostic and I didn't focus on Him or pray to Him, or so I really want to put that out there. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask me if I didn't answer something. I am open to it. I hope I answered all the questions. I did get a slip or a picture actually from Carla, so I kind of went off more of my discipleship in terms of answering the questions. But if you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask me at church, or you can message me or whatever. But thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this helps anybody who is watching, who's on they don't know God or anything, and they want to see my testimony and see where I've come from. But I pray this helps anybody else out there, and I love you guys.